James Powell here, broadcasting to you from downtown Ubon, in my lovely studio, let's call it. And I would like to address an issue in the first unit of one of my religion classes. That issue is, what is spiritual and what is religious? And I've thought about this issue and argued a lot with people. Mostly, I've been one to say, well, everyone's religious. I mean, you get growed up in a culture, and you're going to look at In God We Trust in the United States, for example, or the great king of Thailand in this case. And no matter what culture we're raised in, our reality is socially constructed. The mere fact of my speaking English, and I'm proud to say I have hardly a real English ancestor, is the sign that I'm part of a British Empire, like it or not. This whole idea of white privilege is, I think, having lived there for 2 years, especially prevalent in England. In fact, for all the problems in the United States, and they are tremendous, I will still say overall, I found England more a racist country than my own United States. So, if reality is socially constructed, and it is, studies have shown, and it means we're all religious. Emil Durkheim called religion the soul or the idea of a culture. Certainly it's true in Thailand, 98% are Buddhists. That I can see the sacred canopy as Peter Berger, who came up with this social construction of reality idea, in the frankly great kindness, tolerance, and compassion among these people. My own Protestant background, well, Dad was a super liberal and existentialist Kierkegaard Christian. They don't make those anymore. But I was raised around a lot of mostly Baptists who thought I was going to burn in hell with my father, along with billions of Hindus, Muslims, and Buddhists. So for me, I just had to know why. And then, of course, stumbling on the greats of religious theory, Durkheim, Peter Berger, we could go on and bore you. Wikipedia that. I saw that religion is inescapable. I like to tell students you can run, but you can't hide from religion. However, there's another side of the story. Those are functionalist understandings of religion. Economics, politics, language, social customs, ethics, rituals, all of that is religion. And we're all part of it. If you celebrate Christmas, even if you're an atheist, I'm sorry, you're part of the Christian tradition, which, in spite of those pagan elements, those have been woven into today's Christianity. So that's evolution, friends. But the other side of the story, well, we get that most famously, I'm going to say Carl Jung, but fans of Mircea Eliade, they think he's somehow real unique. No, he studied with Carl Jung for, I believe, 17 years in Ascona. And so that makes him, I think, a Jungian. And for Carl Jung, there was an inner seed of the consciousness, the psyche. He was fascinated by Buddhist mandalas and Buddhism itself. And why? Because Buddhism, like Carl Jung, see the consciousness itself as having some kind of innate qualities a bit beyond the economics and politics and social practices of a religion. They saw the inner sense of the sacred, that part of your heart where you might even die because you believe so strongly in it. That inner sense of the sacred could refer to something as mean and low, sorry Wisconsinites, as Packerism, the Green Bay Packer football team in my home state. I'm certain many there practice Packerism more than they do one of the traditional religions, who would buy stock in a company, the football team, owned by the people themselves, when there's no way they can ever sell that stock, or will it ever make money. It's just to be hung in your office to brag. So that inner sense of the sacred is what I'm going to argue those who don't like religion, and like a student said, many see it as a boogeyman. hiding behind your living room curtains. And yes, many of those boogeymen would like to kill you. It's true for us all on this planet. So beware those boogeymen of the religious world, economics, social practices, ethics, rituals, politics, you name it. And maybe instead focus more, like the Buddha would recommend, on your inner sense of the sacred. And it's interesting, the Buddha urged his followers to avoid politics altogether for the very reason that life in the functional realm of religion is often at odds with that vertical element, our inner sense of the sacred. Hence, the spiritual side. So really, they're two sides of the same coin. And certainly, I think it's fair to say people like Moses or Jesus or Muhammad, key figures in the Abrahamic three religions, those gentlemen were certainly, I might argue, more concerned about the religious world, the social sphere, economics, sometimes advocating justice and equal rights, other times quashing dissent and maintaining control over vast societies. So that's kind of where Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism are over here on the spiritual side. And then I might argue the Abrahamic three, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, those are more focused on the religious. That does not mean that either closes out the other. So we'll see the religious in Asian countries and we'll see the spiritual in Western countries.